Ever had a wild idea for an event and wondered, could this actually work? Well, today we're diving deep into the feasibility study for a pretty unique festival. We're going to look at the actual blueprint for making it happen. So, at the very heart of this whole thing is a really fun and kind of delicious question. Could the Canadian butter tart, that gooey, sweet, iconic treat, actually make a splash on the sunny island of Malta? I mean, it sounds a little out there, right? But the data actually tells a super interesting story. And to figure that out, a really thorough feasibility study was put together. The best way to think about it is like an architect's blueprint for a building. And right now, we're going to walk through the entire thing, from the big idea all the way down to the dollars and cents. Okay, so first things first, let's get our heads around the basic concept. Before we jump into all the numbers and the logistics, you gotta understand the vision. What is the Malta Butter Tart Festival, really? See, this is the brilliant part. It's not just about dropping a Canadian dessert into a new country and hoping for the best. The real magic here is the idea of fusion. It's a cultural exchange, taking a classic Canadian recipe and giving it a twist with local Maltese ingredients. Think honey, carob, maybe some local citrus. And this isn't just some fuzzy idea. The plan gets super specific, right from the get-go. We're talking about a one-day, 8-hour event at the gorgeous Valletta waterfront. The goal? Somewhere around 3,000 people with a buzzing market of about 40 vendors. This takes the dream and grounds it in some very real, tangible numbers. All right, you can have the coolest idea in the world, but it means nothing if nobody shows up. So the next big question the study had to tackle was this: who exactly is going to come to this thing? So the most obvious starting point, the low-hanging fruit, is the Canadian expat community. You've got somewhere between 500 and 800 Canadians living in Malta. You can bet they're probably craving a little taste of home. They're your core built-in audience. But that's not nearly enough to hit that attendance goal, so the plan expands. Next up, culinary tourists. These are the people who literally travel the world looking for unique food experiences. Malta's already a hotspot for foodies, and an event like this could easily pull in up to 2,000 of them. And finally, you've got the locals. The study estimates that more than 1,000 Maltese foodies and families would show up, just out of curiosity, to check out this new and exciting cultural event. And just like that, you have a really solid potential audience. Now, here's what I think is so smart. The plan doesn't just name these groups, it lays out exactly how to get them there. A special VIP reception for the expats, targeted social media campaigns for the tourists, and partnerships with local media to reach the Maltese. It's not a spray and pray approach, it's a targeted multi-front strategy. So the verdict on this question is crystal clear. The study says, with a lot of confidence, that the market demand is strong, and it's backed up by actual evidence. The answer to, will anyone come, is a big, loud yes. The key here is that success isn't riding on just one group. It's built on a diverse mix of people. Okay, so we've got a great idea, and we're pretty sure people are going to show up. Now for the nuts and bolts. How do you actually, pull this thing off? First up, the venue, the Valletta waterfront. It gets a big green check mark on every single point. It's big enough, it's easy to get to, and it's got all the hookups you need for power and water. But the most important thing, it has a proven track record for hosting food events, which is a huge deal when it comes to getting permits. And speaking of permits, the blueprint maps out the whole journey. It's a clear 5-step process. You start with the local council, you get through the health inspections, you get insurance, you get the picture. This shows they've done their homework. They've taken what could be a bureaucratic nightmare and turned it into a simple checklist. It's a great reminder that a successful event is all about nailing these logistical details. All right, now for the section everybody's curious about, the money. Can an event like this actually make financial sense? Or is it just a cool idea that's going to lose a bunch of cash? Let's start with the costs. To put on this one-day festival, the study projects total expenses of €22,550. And that number covers literally everything: renting the venue, staff, marketing, insurance, the whole shebang. Now, what about the money coming in? Between vendor fees, corporate sponsorships, and maybe some contest entry fees, the festival is projected to bring in €23,050. You probably notice how close those two numbers are, and that's totally on purpose. So what does that leave for the bottom line in year one? A net profit of just €500. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's it. But listen,
For a first-year festival, this is a massive win. The goal isn't to get rich right away. It's to prove the concept can pay for itself. And this number does exactly that. It's a solid foundation to build on.
The study also ran the numbers for a few different scenarios. The base case, which we just saw, nets that small profit. In an optimistic scenario, say if they sell more sponsorships, that profit could jump to almost 2,000 euros. And even in a more conservative, worst-case scenario, the potential loss is pretty small, under 1,000 euros. The big takeaway here is that the financial risk is calculated, it's understood, and it's totally manageable. So, we've looked at the big idea, the audience, the operations, and the money. Now it's time for the final call, a frank look at the biggest risks and the ultimate go or no-go decision. What I like here is that the plan doesn't ignore the scary stuff. The single biggest risk for any food festival is, of course, a foodborne illness outbreak. But there's a clear plan to deal with it. A dedicated food safety officer on site all day, plus really strict health inspections before a single tart is sold. This one quote from the executive summary just nails it, doesn't it? The project has been picked apart from every possible angle, and the final conclusion is that it's viable, it's feasible, and it's sustainable. It's a really powerful and confident bottom line. And that powerful conclusion leads to the final, crystal-clear verdict from the entire study. It's just one word, but it says everything. Proceed. It's a green light. The project is a go. And that really brings us to the main takeaway of this whole thing. Taking a fun, creative dream, like a butter tart festival in Malta, and turning it into a reality isn't about luck or magic. So what's the difference between a dream and a business? As this entire blueprint just showed us, the answer is simple. It's a plan.